Hey, hey, happy Sunday. I hope everybody's having a good day so far. Enjoying your Sabbath day, if you celebrate it today. I wasn't planning on doing a video today. I've been lazy all day. I'm not going to say that it necessarily feels good, but I know my body needs the rest. So here we are. I've watched several YouTube videos today, all different kinds, and several different messages coming out in those videos. First of all, I want to start off by saying we may not live in a fair world, but we have a just Father who, even though it may not be when we want it or how we want it, He always provides. And yes, it usually seems like He waits until the very last minute to do so. Depending on what your situation is, it might be for different reasons. Either there's something, to learn from it, or just, observations that need to be made. Okay, so now that I've said that, there was one video that I watched this morning. It was earlier in the day, and it was a video from my watch later file. So I think the video itself was like 10 days old. And right as I got ready to start the video, or as I, selected the video and it was loading, instead of noticing the picture for the video, I noticed the top comment, and it was from the video creator, and it said, "Please do not view this video from a condemnation perspective or standpoint." I thought, oh, wow, let me brace myself, because, I'm still very much, in a lot of ways, at the beginning of this journey. And even though at least now I'm able to see and acknowledge and accept that I'm being triggered, it doesn't always mean that the outcome is positive. Typically it's not. Typically I get, either super offended or just really just upset about whatever's being spoken. So, I kind of braced myself and, maybe put the leash on so that I couldn't run away. Because I really felt like the video had a message for me. And it did. I'm pretty sure that I shared it either on my Facebook or my YouTube. It was only like I don't even think it was 10 minutes long, but the title was something along the lines of, "This is God's answer to you if you're struggling with sin." I thought, okay, He's going to get on here and tell me to do all these things in my life. And don't get me wrong, those things I really shouldn't look at it like that. That's, I guess, maybe my pride, a little bit of ego mixed in with it. I'm not really sure, but those things are true and those things are needed. But I'm one of those types of people that I feel like, to me, the emotions matter. The details matter. That's what determines what step. It was 5:33 on the timer when I looked. That's what determines what steps need to be taken. But then you have people that don't look at things that way. They don't consider the emotions. They don't consider the details. It's just black and white. Like, you do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you'll get the same result as I got. And don't get me wrong, in some situations, it's great to look at things like that. But not all situations. What worked for you, in my case specifically, is not going to work for me. Because your situation was different than mine. You know, maybe the pain that you're experiencing, you experienced it because, you know, you made some bad decisions, which we all do that. We all have those in our life. I'm not saying that I don't have those. But, you know, the reason you're in the situation and the reason I'm in the situation may not be the same. 6:44 on the timer. You know, me specifically in my journey, in my situation, I'm not going to say there's nothing I can do, because there's a lot that I have to do every day, spiritually, emotionally, physically. Which is basically hide myself under his wings and just wait for the storm to pass and work on what I can work on. I think I shared this a long time ago, like, I don't remember the example that I used, but if you don't know, then you don't know. It was when I was at the post office parking lot, and I was talking about the situation with Aiden. And I talked about how you cannot heal from something that's still happening. But in the meantime, you can heal some of the other stuff, right? While you're waiting. I don't like sitting idle. I want to be up doing stuff, being productive with my time. You know, and unfortunately, I allowed people into my life that want me stuck here. They basically want me to work myself to death because they know so much about me. They know that that's who I am. And unfortunately, a character trait that would typically be a positive one, in pretty much every aspect of it, they have flipped it to where in some ways it's negative. I'm hurting my body doing work that doesn't matter. I shouldn't say that. It does matter. But it's not where I'm supposed to be. It's not what I'm supposed to be doing. This is not where I'm supposed to be. But unfortunately, we allow people in our lives, maybe at a point in our life where we're still broken, where we're still very naive and oblivious to the things that are really going on around us. And those people hinder us, and they hold us back, and they hurt us on purpose to hold us back. And unfortunately, if that goes on long enough, a person that doesn't realize what's happening will literally, I mean literally, kill themselves. It's not necessarily always from overworking themselves. They attack different people different ways. What my weakness, it was 11:11 when I looked at the timer. What may be a weakness for me, or not, I shouldn't call it a weakness, but a personality trait that they attack and they play on, that may not be a way that they can get you. They've always played with my emotions. They've always manipulated my emotions to the point to where I've just kind of had to learn to ignore them. And then it got to the point to where you can only ignore them for so long. So, then I had to slowly start allowing myself to feel them. And during these cycles, during these transitions, we had the solstice and then the full moon. We're still in full moon energy. It very much kind of erupts like a volcano for me. Because the rest of the time, the rest of the month, I ignore them. Because I can't base my decisions on them. And because the emotions are so strong that if I allow myself to feel them, 12:44 on the timer, they will affect everything in my world. And I can't let that happen right now. It's part of why I'm where I'm at. It's because I've let that happen a lot in my life. And I don't want to... It's a double-edged sword. That's the 13:13 on the timer. That's the best way to describe it. Because I don't want to say it's a bad thing, because it's not. When I'm surrounded by like individuals, which has been very rare in my life, it's not a bad thing. But when you're in the situation that I'm in, where everybody around you or everybody that you encounter is an enemy, they may not present themselves as an enemy. But that's just the beginning of the deception and the manipulation. That's just the beginning. So then, just to survive, literally just to survive, you have to play their game. Oh, you're pretending to be my friend, so that means I have to pretend to be your friend. You're pretending to be a positive person when really you're a negative person, so I have to pretend like you're a positive person and pretend like I don't know that you're a negative person. Well, usually for me, my truths come out in spats. 1441. And I'm not going to say it's a positive or a negative thing. It's probably both, depending on the situation. But I'll tell you what, last night was one of those moments. And, you know, something that I learned a long time ago was when you bring up a topic, like, especially if you've experienced anything like I've experienced, you know, you've got some off the wall shit you can talk about. And people are going to be looking at you like, there's no way that's real, right? Like, you're full of shit, whatever, right? Okay, but even if you're just like brainstorming, you know, spiderwebbing, trying to figure out what's going on around you, and you start spouting out ideas and theories and, you know, illusions and, you know, superstitions or whatever, you literally say 1555, some off the wall shit like, you know, I hope they didn't spend too much money on that site that doesn't have a red dot, because their kids are going to need it. Talking about a sight on a gun, you know, like in the movies, you see them point the gun at somebody and somebody has a red dot on their head. Well, they make those kind of sights to where the person holding the gun sees the dot, but the people on the other side of the gun don't see the dot. So they don't know that you've got a target right at their head. I'd say, I'm going to assume that something like that's probably pretty expensive. And I'm assuming it's probably illegal for your average citizen to own something like that. So I literally called that out. You know what she did? She didn't say a fucking word. She turned around and walked away in silence. I haven't seen her since, and that was last night. Yeah. Terry Phelps is the man that owns that. Saw it myself. Sitting on the side of the road over by Patterson boat ramp. Dope ramp. There you go. There's a message in itself. Yeah. So I'd say she was pretty shocked when I made sure to point out that he wasn't going to get to use that, and that his kids are going to need that money because their mom's already in jail because she's apparently a karmic. I don't know. I don't know her. And now their dad's fixing to be in prison for premeditated attempted murder. That's not my fault. I didn't pay you to do it. And I damn sure didn't get nothing out of it. Except for, you know, I don't know, maybe he helped me heal my daddy wounds a little bit. Because when I first met him, I didn't, or I should say when I first encountered him, didn't even see his face. For probably about a month or more, all I ever heard was his voice. Didn't even know who he was. Then I thought, God, yeah. And then, you know, they do that shit where they try to play on those wounds. I'm not going to sit here and lie and say I didn't have daddy wounds. I mean, what girl that went through what I went through wouldn't? You know? My dad was never a part of my life. I've never had a father figure in my life. My grandfather was the closest thing to that. And if you want to call it a father figure, you know, but he really wasn't around that much either. But like once I actually interacted with him, Terry, it was like this weird energy. Like I knew already from things that I had just overheard him talking to other people about that we were not on the same level. Some of the things that come out of these people's mouths literally make me want to vomit. But anyways, so I'm like, why am I feeling this way? Like, I know I don't like this person. Why do I feel like I want to spend time around them when I know I don't like them? And then one day it hit me. Bro, sissy, hush. That's not what hit me. I was sitting in a chair by the door. I was facing the door. Bro, sissy, please stop. That's enough. Bro. The puppies are going to be the death of me. They're barking at Darlin and Copper. Darlin and Copper are just sitting there staring at them. Like, at first, they used to bark back at them, but then they're looking at them like, what the fuck is wrong with you people? I almost said people. Yeah. Puppies. Sissy, that's enough. I'm going to have to go spray them with water. See, this is the noise harassment. You hear the other dogs now starting in the back? Here in a minute, it'll be Casper. Then it'll be the dogs down the hill. Then it'll be the goats. Then it'll be the roosters. That's the noise harassment, in case you don't know what that is. There's nothing I can do about it. I mean, I can spray them with water, but they're just going to come back and do it more. But anyways. It was like an epiphany day. I was sitting there. There's Casper. I told you. And now it's going to be even worse because I've moved up front instead of being in the back. But I want to be up here by my dogs. And ooh, hold on. I got to go move, buddy. I'll be back.